Hey everyone, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm actually not from Lemonade. I work at Lemonade, but I'm representing the Lemonade Foundation. The Lemonade Foundation is a nonprofit that was created by Lemonade. And our job at the Lemonade Foundation is to use exponential technology to solve real-world problems. And I want to tell you today about a very interesting project. We're very excited about it. It's the first project by the Lemonade Foundation. It's called the Lemonade Crypto Climate Coalition. And basically, it's the first organization built from the ground up in the Web3 space to provide protection to subsistence farmers from climate risks. But before I go into more detail about the project, I want to start with an observation and a prediction. The observation is that blockchain holds the potential to make substantial changes, I would say potentially fundamental, dramatic, maybe historic changes in the way we act and interact as a society. But until now, I think those changes have yet to reach the people who need them the most, which are the unbanked, the uninsured, and the unprotected. And my prediction is that insurance is going to be the bridgehead that allows to connect between the real world and the blockchain. And I hope once I finish my chat, you'll be able to see why I think this. Let's go into a bit more detail. So I think we're all here because we believe in the promise of crypto to bring a better day, to act as the financial and technological groundwork for a collectively owned future. And I think blockchain has already delivered a lot. And I think in the 13 years since the Bitcoin white paper, we've made a lot of progress. And even since the 5 years since this tweet, we've made a lot of progress. But the question remains, have we made enough progress? Have we touched enough people that actually need our help? And this is something that we're thinking about a lot in the Lemonade Foundation. And we're trying to understand how and if we can use the blockchain to touch the real world. And I'm here to tell you about a project that does exactly that. And when we're thinking about where we can solve, what kind of problems we can solve using the blockchain, one of the things that we're very concerned about at the Lemonade Foundation and at Lemonade is climate change. Lemonade is the first US insurer to commit to never investing in fossil fuels. And this is the problem we want to try to mitigate using blockchain. Unfortunately, climate change is becoming more intensive. That means that there's going to be more floods and more droughts as time goes by. And unfortunately, those droughts and floods are predominantly focused on the emerging world, on the developing economies. And in the developing economies, we have 500 million smallholder farms, which support 2 billion people. That's almost a quarter of the world's population. These people, they live off what they grow. So too little or too much rain for them can literally be life-threatening. They're a very big part of the global poor, people living on less than $2 a day. And if we want to make a dent in global poverty, these people have to be a priority for us. Unfortunately, today, smallholders bear the risk of climate change on their own. In sub-Saharan Africa, for example, in Kenya, where I grew up, about less than 3% of people even have access to insurance, let alone buy insurance, right? So like at first approximation, almost nobody has agricultural insurance. They basically bear the risk alone. And we believe that blockchain can provide a platform to help pool that risk, to help spread that risk, to help flatten the curve. And the tool to do that is insurance. So when you combine blockchain, weather data, and insurance, we think we're able to solve the core problem that has been inflicting and kind of like inhibiting the distribution of insurance in the developing world, and that core problem is cost. For a traditional insurance company, it's just impossible to provide agriculture insurance in the developing world. And I'll explain briefly why. Premiums for agricultural insurance are $2 to $3, $4 per farmer per season. That means that doing an underwriting operation that's complex and expensive, it's just not going to happen. And even if you did have an underwriting capacity, you would still not be able to distribute the product because traditional companies work with brokers and agents, and brokers and agents get a piece of the premium, and if the premium is so low, they're just not going to distribute it. And even if you did have underwriting and distribution, you could still not process the claims because the potential payout costs, let's say, $40 or $50. Just the salary that I would have to pay someone to process a claim would be more than the payout. So it would be unsustainable to do that. So for a traditional insurance company, providing this type of product is virtually impossible. That's why the Lemonade Crypto Climate Coalition is formed. That's what we want to try to solve. We've brought in companies from different walks of life, different verticals, from insurance, reinsurance, from data, from Web3, obviously. And these companies together are here to solve this problem that I've been talking about. What we want to do is we want to use a DAO instead of a traditional insurance company. We're going to use smart contracts instead of policy documents. We'll use oracles instead of claims adjusters. And doing that will make this product go from something that's unsustainable to something that is potentially infinitely scalable, because the blockchain can reach rural Kenya just as it can reach Peru or Papua New Guinea. In addition, we're going to offer this at cost. There's going to be no profit margin. That means that whatever it costs to produce the insurance, the risk, that's what we're going to charge. That also means that it reduces costs even more. And a very good use case for this type of model, blockchain-based insurance model, is weather. The reason it's such a good use case is because weather can be objectively measured, it could be instantly reported, and it can be automatically triggered of claims. That means that if we use historical weather data to price the insurance policy, and then use real-time weather data to know if an event happened or did not happen, a farmer can get instant payout without the need to file a claim. Oh, and one thing I forgot, who the hell trusts their insurance company anyway, right? I mean, wouldn't it be much better to go from a model where instead of distrusting, we can use a trustless model? And I think that's another upside that we get from using the blockchain, because if the payment is not at the hands of some unnamed bureaucracy somewhere. It's right there. It's on-chain for everyone to see, to validate. We can go from a situation where it's distrust to trustless. And by the way, that doesn't mean that the stakeholders don't trust each other. It just means that they don't have to, right? Because the data and the code are the ones that make the decision. And just because it's on-chain, it doesn't mean it's going to be complicated. So the way that we envision the product is a farmer will be able to get an instant quote on their cell phone. They'll be able to pay from their cell phone just as they do today. This, for example, is a M-Pesa in Kenya. So just as they do today for banking and payments, they'll be able to pay for the insurance in the same way. Then, behind the scenes, under the hood, we'll take that money, we'll exchange it to a stable coin, we'll park it in a smart contract on the Avalanche blockchain, which offers us super low gas fees, which is important for a nickel and dime business like this. It also offers low carbon footprint. Then we'll use weather data, which will be inserted into the blockchain through oracles, through Chainlink oracles, to trigger, to know if an event happened, to know if too much rain rained or enough rain rained. That'll trigger the smart contract to pay out. And when that payment is made, the money goes straight back into the same phone that made the payment. So from the customer's perspective, from the farmer's perspective, it's no different than the experience they have today. Initially, the Lemonade Crypto Climate Coalition is going to provide the funding, the capital to backstop the smart contracts that I mentioned. But over time, we'll allow every crypto investor to stake capital in this platform. We'll also be issuing a token that will allow and incentivize the community's kind of like participation in this project. We've already formed the coalition. We're gonna put out a white paper and register the DAO within the next quarter. Hopefully do a pilot in Africa by the end of the year. And next year, we're going to be scaling and issuing the token. As I said in the beginning, I think that blockchain has tremendous potential to potentially bring fundamental and historic changes to the way we act as a society, to the way we interact with each other. Our job is to make sure that potential is realized. And the Lemonade Crypto Climate Coalition has brought together companies from different walks of life, kind of like companies that are not ready business partners. But these companies are dedicated to this ambitious project. To my mind, the most ambitious project that I've seen to make blockchain a real-world thing and to release blockchain's potential energy. We're going to use insurance as a way, as a bridgehead, to connect the real world and the blockchain. And in this way, we hope to influence and improve the lives of the people who really need this the most, the unbanked, the uninsured, and the unprotected. So we are very excited about this project. I hope you are too. And if you are, I encourage you to send us an email to subscribe@lemonade.org. And we'd love to keep in touch. That's it. Time to build. Thanks.